In 3.8, working with characters and the string objects, this starts on page 120, and I'll tell you, we've already resolved a lot of this particular section of the chapter back in chapter 2's code samples when we were working with strings and object or with strings and characters rather. In our chapter 2 code sample set, we had the long video on the CIN for a name, for example. So my name would be in there. So if I put in Eric and then Wolf, that was going to be okay to use the CIN object, but it didn't work if I said Rock Valley College in the same way that we expected. So here in 3.8, over the next couple of pages, starting on 120, you'll look at the difference between the CIN that we would use for character types or for integer types or double types that we've already been using throughout chapter 2 and here to date in 3. And then you'll also see the CIN.get. And it's my suggestion to you to stick to the get line instead. And that, again, is in that previous chapter's end of the code sample, rather, set and the video. It just works better. I know I'm going to have several of you who in the beginning here are consistently going to use the CIN when working with strings because it will not have burnt you sufficiently enough quite yet. It's the CIN object does not work as well when dealing with space characters as it does with just dealing with a group of characters for a line as is truncated by the \n. So when you hit enter. So please, 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 take this under consideration. Use CIN, so CIN, and then the extraction operator when you are going to get an integer of any sort, so a long, a short, a long, etc. Use it for integers, for doubles, for floats, for chars, for booleans. Perfectly okay. Use getLine and then the parentheses, and then inside the parens, it's CIN, a comma, and then the name of your variable. And again, I'm just going to point you at, I have a whole example of that at the end of chapter 2. That works better. That's going to deal with the space character properly. That's going to deal with the new line character properly. It's going to reduce the probability of extra things being caught in the buffer and having an impact on future inputs. Does that sound like something you'll get into? It absolutely is, and we will see more of what happens with the buffer and future inputs when we do things in chapter 4. So stick with us.